And now we're heading over to the Consumer Protection Zone, where Andy will be interviewing Ian Shanahan, the Director of Business Development and Fundraising for YGAM, Erica Young, the Regulatory Affairs Director for Better Change, and Heather Lee, the Manager of Public Relations and Communications from the Responsible Gambling Council. Andy, over to you.
Thank you very much indeed, Katie. Yes, welcome down to the CPZ zone at Ice London 2022. And as you say, I have Ian, I have Erica, and I have Heather with me here today. Thanks for joining me today. It's been a great show so far, hasn't it?
It has.
It has, okay. Ian, I'm going to start with you. Tell me how important the initiatives that have been carrying on down here at the CPZ are to raising the profile of the charities that represent gambling harms.
Well, I think the first thing that I think struck us was the change in format. I think it's very different to what we've seen. I've not met anybody yet that I've spoken to that doesn't think that this is an amazing setup, and we hope this continues to next year, because the opportunities for being able to network and collaborate, everybody knows where they're going, so they can come to one zone and they can speak to all of the charities and supporters in one area. So this has been a fantastic initiative, and we're happy to support this again next year if the opportunity arises.
So tell me about some of the work that YGAM has been doing over the last year to expand its services.
Well, obviously, as with many, we did move a lot of our content online. We had to, obviously, and that really was quite beneficial to us, because we saw that a lot of people started to pick up on the programs. But also we've moved into different areas now. Obviously we have student services as well as our national education program, which is supporting teachers and young people. But we've also expanded into sort of doctors' surgeries, where we're educating doctors. And we launched our Safer Gambling training program, which was launched in April last year, and that's been hugely successful.
And the Safer Gambler training, how does that, you mentioned that obviously, how does that look in real life, in the lived experience?
Well, obviously, we have lived experience that is part of our training, and we built the training in partnership with Bet No More, who's one of our supported charities. The idea really was to build a suite of training programs that were designed specifically for people that work in the gambling industry. So it's around understanding vulnerability, understanding gambling-related harm, enhanced skills for interactions, which is incredibly popular at the moment. We also look at safeguarding and welfare, health and well-being, and also signposting. So we broke it up into different sections to enable operators to be very specific about what they wanted to train. And we've also given them the opportunities to be able to do it online through our e-learning portal, or we can do face-to-face, or even online facilitated training, which we've done an awful lot of and have become very effective at. But the training program, as I said, it was launched early last year in conjunction with Bet No More, and it's been amazing how the operators have taken it on board and started to run with it. So really impressed.
Let's talk about the operators and the industry. How do you think they could better support the work that YGAM does?
Well, I suppose from my perspective, I think there's always that opportunity. YGAM are on the Gambling Commission vet list, so if their annual contributions are going anywhere else, obviously we'd love some of that or part of that to come to YGAM. Plus also, if you do purchase any of the Safer Gambling training programs, all of that profit goes back into the charity to fund a social cause.
Ian, thank you very much indeed. Now, Erica, just moving to you now. Obviously, tell us about the inspiration for Better Change, the organisation that you are the Regulatory Affairs Director for. What inspired the business?
Okay, well, Vicky Reed, who's our founder, who was head of product for an iGaming company. She was doing some studying at Harvard, and she met the boss of a social housing company. And he had a very challenging conversation with her about the harms he'd seen from gambling and people who couldn't afford their rent because they were gaming away their money. So from some really robust conversations in which Vicky kind of defended the industry and said it wasn't that they were doing nothing, there was lots going on, but more could be done. From those conversations, the idea for Better Change arose, and so that's why it now exists. And Dave Searle, whose company, the housing company, he's actually financially supported the Better Change while we're trying to get up and running. So it's been really important.
And as the focus on player safety increases across all the regulated markets, multiple markets, how important will external providers like you be to ensuring that there's an effective safety net for people?
I think there's a really important place for external providers. I think what's really fundamental is that there is buy-in to safer gambling, player protection in all the organisations. Everybody who is making money from gambling has a duty to protect people from the risks that we know exist. But there's only so much people can do internally, and there's some. Just look around the CPZ. There are some really good tools, some really good organisations, some great things going on that can. So working with the industry is really powerful.
Working with the industry then, so of the CPZ, how important is this area in furthering the social responsibility mindset across the industry? Or you obviously think it is?
Yeah, I think it's phenomenally important. I was delighted the first year that we had the zone, although it was kind of tucked away in a back corner. Now we've got a fantastic, really central location. Nobody can miss it. And these organisations like ours, we can't afford a big glitzy stand. We can only have a little place. So if you group everything together, for every operator should come and see what there is, and wander through and talk to people. And in one hit, they can just see so many different things. So it's brilliant.
And do you feel the sector's doing as much as it can to protect players?
It can always do more. I think if the less good came up to the level of the best, it would be pretty good. I think it's easy to knock the industry. And one of the things Better Change really believe is that the industry are not all the bad guys. People don't go to work wanting to destroy people's lives. They do want to get things right. Most of them do want to get things right. So we just all need to work together on it. And we can do better, and we will do better. But we shouldn't think that we're not doing anything, because we are.
Okay, so give me an insight into the next 12 months for Better Change. What can we expect from you guys?
Well, we're partnering with YGAM, Lee Willows, and also with the Centre for Excellence in Responsible Gaming at the University of Gibraltar. So we've got lots of projects that we have planned. We've had some really good conversations with possible funders. What we need is for some of those organisations to just get us across the line and actually give us some money, and then there's so much we can do if we get some funding.
That's the golden ticket, isn't it? Erica, thank you. Heather, our final guest here down on the CPZ today from the Responsible Gaming Council. Give us an insight, Heather, into some of the projects that you're currently working on.
Yeah, so for us, we just legalized our online regulated market, so we're looking to really build the capacity there. Some projects we're going to be looking at are obviously key topics around advertising and standards, also digital tools, as well as exploring more about the online expansion.
And obviously you do a lot of research. How are you looking to expand that in the coming months?
Yeah, I think capacity building is going to be pretty important for us, and obviously leveraging our collaborations and working collaboratively with our partners, new and existing, globally. And I think access to creative and high quality data sources is going to be really important, especially for us going forward.
Now, of course, in your home province of Ontario, we've recently seen the launch of regulated betting and iGaming. How have you been doing to prepare for that? Yeah,
so in preparation for that, we've done a lot of work, of course, well before the launch, working with governments and regulators and operators just to ensure that responsible gambling is at the forefront. We've also been part of the consultation, changing the standards and regulations for iGaming, which is actually very fluid. It's constantly changing, which I think is a very proactive way to look at things. We also have RG Check, which is our accreditation program, embedded into the operators' licenses when they come into Ontario. So I think that really goes to show Ontario's public health approach to gambling harms. Making that really part of the core is really, really integral. And also we're just also doing a prevalence study as well, just to see what the impacts of this new online expansion will be. So that's going to be really important too coming forward.
We've heard from Erica and Ian about how important for them they feel that the consumer protection zone has been. How's your experience been this year?
It's been absolutely fantastic. It's my first ICE, but I do want to echo what Ian and Erica have both said about the location of this and how open it is. I think it really fosters a lot of great conversations with regulators, operators, but also affiliates and other types of companies in the industry. And I think it's really important for that collaborative approach going forward.
And if there was one thing that you could say to every gambling operator to better protect their players, you've got the button, you can send the email, what would be that one thing that you would say?
That's a hot topic. I think for us it would be about having evidence-informed RG policies, the importance of data. I think a lot of the conference and emerging themes of what I've heard is that responsible gambling is everyone's responsibility. So I think that having those in place with using the data and leveraging our research communities will really go far to sort of identify and even increase the effectiveness of our best practices going forward.
Heather, thank you very much. Erica and Ian as well, thank you for your time. Well, as you can hear, the action and the interesting things taking place down on CPZ today are taking place until show ends. So get on down here if you can.